Welcome to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Wednesday after AEW and NXT, and every Friday after SmackDown.
How's it hanging, folks?
Hello, give me a holy yeah. How's it going? Hello, John L.
What tis up?
How you doing?
How's everybody doing? So
I'm gonna be honest. I did not watch much of NXT. However, I did watch all of AEW.
I will be honest. I watched both. So I thought, well, I watched both as best as I could. I tried to pay more attention to NXT, obviously, because you didn't watch it, and so I paid attention to it,
Yeah.
and I paid attention to AEW
Like I said, I saw parts of it.
too. So tonight was actually decent. I think both shows were decent, and I think both shows were. Where's the other one? Why can't I find the other one?
Who had the better wrestling show tonight? Should be right there.
Okay. I'm gonna say AEW because it was. I think NXT was good. Interesting look. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Got my hat on today because my hair. It's a hat day. So, I'm gonna say AEW was the better show. I think NXT was better than it has been.
Hello, James.
I think
By the way, hello.
NXT was good.
Yes, we did, and we will talk about that. Classic Hulk Hogan.
But I
That's
will
right.
share. We're gonna.
Classic.
So we're gonna switch it up. You know, we generally talk about AEW first, but I think we're gonna talk about NXT first tonight because I thought AEW was the better show, and so we're gonna talk about NXT first and get that out of the way. So I liked NXT better than it has been. They had more matches, and it was done well. The issue I have with this is the matches that they did put on tonight. They had no story behind them, and so I found the first couple matches to start off the show were kind of difficult for myself to get into, because there wasn't really any story there, and it was more so of let's just throw these two guys together in the ring, and, you know, there's nothing there, so that was kind of where I was just like, that pushed AEW over the edge just a smidge, because I thought it was, more, coherent, and everything all went together, and kind of, went with everything that has happened over previous weeks, and so that's what made that show better. So we start the show off with Austin Theory versus Tyler Breeze. This one kind of did have some story behind it, very briefly. There was a thing last week, or 2 weeks ago, or couple weeks ago, something like that, where they had kind of an interaction at the PC, and that was it. And that's why they had this match. It was a good match. It just, there wasn't tons of story behind it, which is why it was a little more difficult for me to get into it.
They had today, I think they had to do everything today or tomorrow morning to get everything filmed.
Yeah, so Breeze won the match. Cool. Awesome. Sucks for Austin Theory, because I thought they were going to push Austin Theory to be, a top guy, to kind of, take the spot of, an Adam Cole or Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa, but I don't know if that's what they're going to do with him.
Spoilers already leaked.
James, keep him to yourself. I'm just saying.
I'm not shocked by that.
Just keep him to yourself. Keep him to yourself, my guy. Please. Please. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. So, is Stanford locked down yet?
I'm trying to remember.
I don't know for sure. Is Maven drinking chicken broth? No, I'm drinking tea. I mean, it could be, if you want it to be chicken broth, sure, but it's tea. It is green tea with ginseng or something like that. It's delicious, though. It just tastes like sweet tea. That's all it tastes like, sweet green tea. So, anyways, Breeze and Austin Theory, decent match. It was, decent or whatever. But, like I said, I thought they were going to push Austin Theory to be, the next top guy. But he lost to Breeze tonight, and I really don't see the reason for that at all. Looks like mucky beer to me. Sure, it can be that too. If you want it to be mucky beer, I mean, whatever. But it is green tea. I can guarantee that. Delicious green tea. We then got Killian Dane versus Tehuti Miles. He's a newcomer in NXT. Didn't have a clue who this guy was, so you knew he wasn't winning the match, that's for sure. Killian Dane squashed him in just a couple minutes. Cool. Like, it was, again, another just, like, match that I was just like, I don't really care. I don't really care for Killian Dane that much right now either, just because, like, I thought...
How doing, Zendo? Hello, Export.
When they brought him back to NXT, I thought he was going to be doing something. That is not the case. He did it first. He had, a big feud with Matt Riddle or whatever. And then it was just kind of like, he just kind of went like, wah, 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 wah. I think he would be better suited. Is that a word? Better suited? He would fit better. That's what I'm trying to say. He'd fit better in NXT UK.
Yes.
And I think that's where they should send him. Just because I think he'd be of more use over there.
I agree.
Because I really don't see the thought process behind keeping him on NXT if he's not really doing anything that important. You could have him do a feud with Walter or something if you wanted to over there.
Yeah.
I know they're doing the whole Finn Balor thing right now, but you could easily do something with Killian Dane down the line because he's another big dude. Big-ish compared to Walter. He's big-ish.
Big-ish.
Big-ish, because Walter's like
That's
huge.
a new wrestler, Big-ish.
So you have Big Show, Big Swole. Now you have Big-ish.
Sammy Singh Judas again this week.
No, I wish.
No.
I was like, please, man, please. And he didn't.
But the camera guy did.
The camera guy did. It was funny. So yeah, Killian Dane won. We then got Cameron Grimes versus Tony Nese. Why exactly did this match happen? I don't know, but it did. Cameron Grimes won. They're pushing this guy a lot. I don't like him.
I like him.
I don't like Cameron Grimes.
It was funny. I loved it. It was awesome.
I don't like Cameron Grimes. I don't get the gimmick. I don't. The only thing that's cool is his hat. His hat's cool.
I told you he's
his
grown
hat
on me, and
is a
at
bigger
first I didn't like
superstar
him, but
than
the
he
more
is.
they've shown him,
Just
the
like-
more I've liked him.
I don't know. It's not really my cup of tea. So Cameron Grimes won. Cool. We then got Aaliyah versus Xia Li, and I'm sitting here going, please, please, please. This is a qualifying match for the, what is it called? The ladder match that we have in 2 weeks for the number 1 contender spot. And I'm like, no, stop. They're going to have Aaliyah go over Xia Li based on what happened in their last match. This is WWE, classic WWE booking. Xia Li broke Aaliyah's nose, and they're going to have Aaliyah win. And I'm like, not in any world, at any time, ever, should Aaliyah be even near a title opportunity. Not even, just, no, should not happen, ever. She is not title material. I'm just saying, that's just me, but she should not, ever. So I'm like, great, Aaliyah's gonna win. She's gonna get added to this stupid match and take a spot away from somebody who, should have it. Great. Well, we then go backstage, and Xia Li had gotten attacked, and she was, like, crying and upset, and she looked hurt. And Aaliyah's like, yes, I won. I'm going to the match. Yeehaw, woohoo, And Greg Hamilton is like, actually, no, we have somebody here to fight you.
I agree a little fetchy, and I think they can do something. But I like his gimmick. I like what he's doing. I think you could add something to him to make it even better.
I just don't like the guy. Just saying. That's just me. So then Io returns and takes Xia Li's place. I was so happy. You have no idea how happy I was to see Io back. I hope she wins the match. I hope she wins the number 1 contender ladder match. That's what I hope. I hope it's her. Because, man, okay, her versus Rhea would be cool. I'd be down for that. Her versus Charlotte could also be cool. They both have moonsaults. They can play off of that. It could be neat.
Should have been Dakota.
Dakota has a shot at redemption next week, so she might get added to the match. Possibly. It's probably going to be her. Io needs to win the ladder match, though.
I agree.
Anybody else with me? Should Io win the ladder match? I think she should.
Definitely.
Just saying, you know. It should be her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Should have been
Dolph Ziggler.
You know? No. So Io won the match. I was so happy. We then got a Keith Lee interview thingy. He says, I owe Dijakovic an apology after I hit him with, sorry, what? I owe Dijakovic an apology after I hit him. After I saw it, he attacked me. Dijakovic comes out and says, I don't give a damn about your apology. The only thing I care about is the North American Championship. Okay, that's all I care about. Says, I want that belt. Damian Priest comes out and says, my eyes are on that prize. It's going to give me what I want. Everyone knows my name will live forever, but to do that, I need that championship. Keith is like, well, okay. At the end of the day, it's you two. You're, over here, you're squabbling over, who should play me next? When I'm standing right here, and so... Priest then tries to attack Lee. Dijakovic pushes Lee out of the way, and then Lee attacks Dijakovic, and then it's just this big mess, and then Dijakovic ends up cleaning house and walks out. Next week, we are getting a Dijakovic versus Priest versus Keith Lee for the North American Championships.
Yes.
So, that's exciting.
Again, they need to do something. I don't like the whole idea what they're doing. They could have just done Priest and Dijakovic. I think it would have been a lot better. And then maybe the winner gets Keith Lee, have Priest win, and go from there.
You can have Priest win, but then Keith Lee needs to squash him. Because I don't want Priest with the North American Championship. I'm sorry. I don't like him either. His voice is so deep, it's not even funny. It's like...
something new, it's something fresh.
I am Damian Priest.
The whole Lee and
it's like, his voice is so deep, and it's like, just like, so weird, and his like character is like so weird, and I'm just like, dude, I just don't like you. Like,
the whole Lee and Dijakovic thing is like, they've done it enough.
I don't think Dijakovic necessarily needs to go for the North American Championship either. It's probably going to end up being Dijakovic. Priest wins the belt off of Lee. Dijakovic then goes after Priest. Dijakovic wins the title for Priest. And then maybe it goes back to Keith Lee. I don't know.
I'd rather see it go that way than like having them do it the way they're doing it now.
So we then get Adam Cole. He's at home in a pool, hanging out, And kind of early to take the title off of Lee. I agree. I don't think they should be taking the title off of Lee right now.
Unless you're going to push him for the NXT title.
No, because they're doing that with Dream right now. So.
Well, they are, but I think you could push Lee right after Mania.
I don't know.
Or after the feud's over.
I don't know. I don't.
Candace should be on Raw.
She should. She would be a good addition to
Yeah.
Raw because I like her a lot. I think she's different and she has personality. Just saying. And she's good in the ring. So,
yeah.
We then get Adam Cole. He's in a pool and stuff at home because he's not there, and he talks about Dream. Says he hasn't earned anything. Says Bobby Fish would like to have a match with Dream. So that is made official for next week. We are getting Bobby Fish versus the Dream. The only way I accept this is if Bobby Fish's theme music when he comes out is Matt Riddle singing. How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish? It's the only way I accept it. Otherwise,
No,
sorry.
Doesn't happen. Candace is great, definitely. Calling someone up is not a solution.
So
I've given my opinion on the women on what they should do.
Mhm. Yes, many times.
WWE, are you listening?
No.
No, they're not.
They're not. So we then get Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink. What kind of a name is Brendan Vink? I'd like to know. Lorcan and Burch end up winning, of course, as everybody suspected. Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink were on Raw this past week, I believe, and they fought Street Profits, I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the Street Profits, and they lost. So are they like a tag team now? I guess so. I don't know. Shane Thorne wasn't doing so hot in the singles division, so they were like, you know what? Let's throw him in a tag team, put him down a little lower on the dirt, because, why not? We then got another qualifying match, Candice LeRae versus Kaden Carter. Candice won. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Works for me. She should be in the ladder match. She can do some really cool spots. She can take some really cool spots.
Maybe cosplaying as Rhea Ripley.
Sure, I feel like I dress up as somebody, every other day, Today, sure, Rhea Ripley. I'll be Rhea Ripley today. That's cool. So Candice can do some really cool spots in the ladder match. If you haven't seen anything that Candice has done before, she's done some hardcore stuff. So she can take the ladder stuff and make it cool. I think she's a good addition to the match.
After Mania, I don't know how they're going to be able to do anything.
I don't either.
A lot of these states being closed down.
Mhm.
And now that Florida won't close down, but Orlando has, so that kind of messes up the Performance Center.
So we have all the women announced.
Maven looks like an action woman.
So we have all of the competitors announced except for one, which I'll talk about that in a second. So in 2 weeks, it's going to be Candace versus Io versus Mia versus Tegan versus Chelsea and Green, and one other opponent in the number one contender ladder match on NXT. The last competitor is being decided next week. It's going to be Dakota versus Shotzi Blackheart versus Kaden Carter versus Aaliyah versus Xia Li versus Deonna Purrazzo in a second chance gauntlet match to determine the final entrant. I am thoroughly expecting Dakota to win. If anybody but Dakota wins, I will be shocked because I think it's going to be her. I was shocked she got eliminated to begin with.
Yes.
Because who went over her? Was it Mia?
Green and Mia being in ladder matches and no.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Mia being in the ladder match because Mia had a ladder match.
I know Elijah.
Who was it with? Mia had a ladder match recently. She was. It was with Io. The ladder match with Io before War Games was epic, and she did really well in that match. And that's why she wasn't in the War Games match, because she had some injuries. So that was a cool ladder match, and so I think she'll be fine. Green is a little questionable. It's a little huh? So I don't know.
It's Bianca Belair next.
So yeah, that was that. Cool. We then get Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. Riddle won and then got attacked by a new tag team led by Malcolm Bivens. I don't know who the tag team is. If anybody knows, let me know. But they're two big dudes.
I agree. I like Green and the Robert Stone brand. They just need to utilize it right. I thought they were gonna push her when they put her on.
And then
Raw.
she lost 4 times.
It's on Raw, right?
In a row, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she lost 4 times in a row. Yeah. Do we remember that?
Yeah.
I think we do. Green is still green. LOL.
Yeah.
And Mia characters never connected with me. Interesting. I can agree with the Green statement. She is still green in the ring.
J-Bone is Candice LeRae turn heel. Well, I think he's taking time off because he's got. I think Daniel Bryan's taking time off simply because he's got an immune system issue.
Yeah, some autoimmune something.
And with everything that's going on, it's probably more just to protect himself.
Probably.
Until all this clears up.
So, yeah, Riddle won the match and then got attacked by a new tag team. Stop. So, yeah, I don't know, they were two huge dudes. Led by this really short guy.
Who were the two huge dudes?
Anybody
know?
know? I don't know who they are. I have no idea.
Like I said, I didn't watch it because I saw the ending.
They were huge though.
But Maven showed me a picture of the other.
They're like huge.
Yeah. She showed me a picture of that.
So we then have Ciampa, Gargano, and Triple H.
We'll have a character stand next to Maven. LOL.
So we then get Ciampa, Triple H, and Gargano. Triple H is essentially moderating this whole thing, and he's just like, this is what's happening here. This will not happen again. You two will not tear the building apart again. You will not. No, it's not going to happen. We're not doing that, okay? Gargano and Ciampa are both like, I want to be the face of NXT. No, I want to be the face of NXT. No, I'm going to be the face of NXT. I'm the face of NXT. And Triple H is like, shut up! Enough! Like, just stop, my guys. And, he's like, we're finishing this. We're finishing this once and for all. You guys, we're finishing this. Because this, no. We cannot have something like what happened 2 weeks ago happen again. No.
I don't know where. Yeah,
Triple H should put them in separate room size. So he
Iconics are like nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I don't know when they're coming back. No
Robert
idea.
Stone, and here's one of the issues right now is WWE really doesn't have any managers. I think bringing back managers would be cool.
So
outside of Heyman.
So they're both like, we want to fight each other, and Triple H is like, all right, you guys are gonna do it on the biggest stage we have, and Gargano's like, no, I want to do it in an empty building with only a ring and ourselves. And Triple H is like, okay. So,
yeah, but Angel
in
Garza
2 weeks.
Zelina's really not. I mean, she's there, but
in 2 weeks.
I don't know.
In 2 weeks, it will be Gargano versus Ciampa in an empty building with just the two of them. There will be a ref there, but the ref is only there for when one of the guys is ready to be done. Triple H says, this is last time. This is done. We're done after this. You will not fight each other anymore. It is over. We're done. Done. And then we're like getting ready to leave. And this Killer Kross video plays. And I'm like, what? He's going to be the true face of NXT. Just you wait.
Yes, I would agree. I think he's going to be.
I think Gargano and Ciampa.
The only part of NXT that I saw was this part.
Gargano and Ciampa.
And I thought.
I think what's gonna happen is Gargano and Ciampa are literally gonna rip each other to shreds.
He's got Streamlabs.
They're literally going to rip each other to shreds, and then Killer Kross is gonna step in and be like, "No, I'm the face of NXT because you two are fools. And if you really were the faces of NXT, you wouldn't have been acting childish this entire time. You would have been doing your jobs."
Yeah, I know.
Jericho banned all fans from attending shows.
Funny.
That's why AEW have empty arenas. What's WWE's
That was
excuse?
awesome.
So.
The whole Jericho thing is awesome.
So. It was a good NXT show. I thought, but AEW was.
I have a feeling it's gonna be Killer Kross.
It's Killer Kross. Killer Kross was in the video. It's Killer Kross.
Yeah. It's Killer Kross.
It is.
Yes.
It was him.
Definitely.
So, folks, are we ready for AEW? Because it was a good show.
Definitely a good show.
Good show. It was clearly Killer Kross.
Yes. Definitely Killer Kross.
So, I almost hit the wrong button. So, we started off the show with Cody versus Jimmy Havoc. I thought this was a good match.
Yeah, I like the way they did it. No spoiler export.
It was clearly Killer Kross, though. It's just saying, man. Yeah, just saying.
It's either him or Hulk Hogan.
I'm sure it was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
It was me. I was in the video, guys.
Yes.
It was me. It was me. It was just like all my hair was just like gone, and it was me. I think the original plans was for them to be on the WrestleMania card.
I think so too.
Probably. Which is why he was like, y'all are going to be on the biggest stage.
And then things got messed up.
And then they were like, no, we want to fight in an empty building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fight with no one here.
Which I suppose, cool. But whatever,
Yeah.
So AEW, Cody versus Jimmy Havoc. I thought it was a good first match.
Yeah, definitely. Good match. I thought it was a good way to start it.
I liked it.
I liked what happened after it.
Me too, man! Cody was on commentary for the rest of the show after this match, by the way. Just wanted to say that now before I forget. So Cody won. Again, good match. We then get a Lance Archer, Jake the Snake video.
It wasn't the best export, but they're still building storylines.
Yeah, which is why I think it was better than NXT.
They're still building storylines, even with nobody there. They're building storylines.
Yeah.
Which makes it about 100 times better.
So, Vanguard 1 is going to turn on that.
Definitely.
I like Jimmy Havoc, but this didn't do anything for him. Him and Moxley would have had a great hardcore match. Didn't really like Cody on commentary.
I thought both of them did a decent job.
I agree. I think Omega was better, but I think for what it was, I thought Cody did a good job kind of, being there, kind of like on the fly, so to speak, because commentary isn't what he does. He's a, wrestler. And I think he did a good job with what he was, doing and, the way they did it. I like the Lance Archer Jake the Snake video after. Essentially, Jake was like, Cody, we want your people to bring us something to sign. So we can have you one time. That's all we want. It's one match. That's it. One match. That's all we want. So, have your guys talk to us. We want a match. This was done very well. I love it. Jake the Snake is so good. He can't wrestle anymore because he's, old. But he can still do this, and he does it so very well, and he gets it. He gets the aspect of the storyline stuff, and making it good, and he gets it. He understands what makes the show good, and what makes a storyline good.
I think Vanguard was there just to check out.
Jake still got it promo-wise. He does. He really does. It was, everything he has done thus far has been so very good and has been so entertaining, and every single time he gets on there to speak, I just want to hear what he has to say.
The thing about this
because of the first time when he came out, and it's so captivating, and he does a good job of drawing you in. It's just, I love this Tuesday in Texas.
Yes.
That is one of my favorite, the whole snake thing, just like everything about that and everything leading up to it, it was so good. And he is so good at what he does, man. I love that.
Well,
that is honestly such a good pay-per-view. Like, if you've never seen it, you should.
I think this was Jake the Snake's way to getting back into the business. When WWE didn't want to use him, and, he wanted one last shot. And I think this gave him a shot. And knowing that he can't wrestle anymore, but he's a good talker,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, what's really benefited him.
And it's really benefiting AEW too.
I agree.
Because they have him and they're using him. It's just, it couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that WWE were jerkwads and were like, no, we're not gonna do this with you, but we are gonna put you in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, like, it couldn't have worked out better in AEW's favor that they did that.
Yeah, I agree.
It is great, Maven. Good to see some passion about one of the best pay-per-views of the late 80s, early 90s. It was so good, though! Like, the whole thing, like, with the snake bite and the just, like, the personalness.
We are not in lockdown yet.
Of that. It was so awesome. And I've watched that so many times, and it's one of my favorite pay-per-views ever. Because it was just so good.
We're not in lockdown yet, but we do have a case, like, right here in our town. And we aren't a very big town, so, like, yeah. We're super small.
Yes. So, not leaving the house. So
and I don't think our hospital could handle
a huge...
If we had 10 people,
we'd probably be in trouble.
Yeah.
So
probably wouldn't even take 10. Probably even 5 or 6, probably.
So, like, it was epic. And I loved that whole pay-per-view and just everything that Jake the Snake has done. I've always been a super huge fan of Jake the Snake. I think he's a very special type of performer. He's very good at, you know, what he does, and, you know, the whole aspect of, like, he had the snake and everything, and it was just so different, and made me love him. He's awesome.
We should probably be in lockdown because we have too many people out walking around.
Probably. So, you know, epic, man, epic. We then get Darby Allin versus Kip Sabian in a pretty good match. These two guys did very well. I love both of these guys. Darby Allin is awesome and amazing, and everybody knows I love him, and he is just so... He's another one. He's so good at what he does. You know, Jake is amazing at talking. In a time when it was all about muscle men being angry.
Yeah, and you think about it, he's not... I mean, he's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not like the big muscular type guy that you find.
He was smaller than a lot of the guys that were there. I think the reason
he got over was because of his ability on the mic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It was...
Hey, I know the stay-at-home thing isn't good, but I think in order to get through this whole thing and not have our hospitals overran, I think it's probably important to have this.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man. Darby Allin, Kip Sabian. I love both these guys. I think both of them are super good in the ring. I think both of them have the ability to get themselves over, and they have gotten themselves over. Darby Allin is such a freaking superstar, man. So when is Maven getting a Darby Allin face tattoo? Will her dad...
Never.
No, I don't think I'm gonna go that far. Okay, no. I like the guy, but
They definitely need a mid-card.
Don't need the tattoo.
Mid-card title would be good for...
So, Darby Allin, like I said, he's a freaking superstar. The video they played before was him with cutouts of the inner circle.
Cool.
Their faces. It was like paper cutouts of them, but they were like, you know, on his face or whatever. And he cut out their eyes and, you know, kind of like cut out their mouths or whatever, or drew giant X's over their mouths or whatever the case may be. And it's just, they've done a couple of those, and they are so, he doesn't do a whole lot of talking in it. But
Yes, go check out Gimme a Whole Yes mid-card title in AEW.
He's done these videos a couple times. And just like the whole setting, the whole aspect of it, the whole like vibe the video is, it's so cool and so different from everything, you know, like, it's so cool. And this is why people love him. Is because his gimmick is so different and it's so out there but not out there, you know, it's different, and you don't see a lot of things like that
Elijah, no. I don't think that the women should get an IC title. Chris Jericho never thought he would see Matt Hardy at AEW.
I'm coming to quarantine at my house because I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't like my house. That's funny. Forgetty. You're a funny person.
Forgetty, you might not want to quarantine at our house. Our house would drive you nuts.
No, she'd be pretty entertained by Tiny Jerry for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
For maybe 2 days. Maybe 2 days till, you freaked out.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 days. So, Darby Allin versus Kip Sabian. Darby Allin won. Kip Sabian's really good too. He's really good on the mic. He hasn't spoken very much, but from what I've seen and what I have watched on AEW, he is very good. And he can get the storyline over. And, man, he's another real good one.
Yeah.
So, I can't wait for them to do the Colt Cabana Kip Sabian match, because that'll be fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing's been made official, but based on what they did last week, they played back to it this week.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's going to happen, it's going to be a fun match because
again, the thing I like about it is they created this storyline,
and they don't have to have them interact every single week to get the storyline across.
It's kind of refreshing just to see different things happen.
So that was that. Darby Allin won. Super cool. We then got Jake Hager versus jobber Chico Adams. Jake Hager won, and then Moxley comes out after and plants Hager with a DDT. And Hager literally stands right up after that. He no-sold it. He then does like the ankle lock or whatever. And Mox then tries to like hit him with the belt or whatever after that. He like gets out of it somehow. And Jake Hager runs off. And so that was cool. We then get a Moxley interview, and essentially he was like, told you I was coming for you. I'm cleared now. Told you I was coming for you. Told you I was coming for you. And I did. And when we fight, it'd be for this or whatever. So I'm assuming it's going to be a title match from the way he was speaking and the way it sounded. It sounded like he was almost challenging Jake Hager to a match for his title. Like Moxley's title. In a weird way, it is what it sounded like. Was he was kind of laying out the challenge and was like, Jake Hager, you get a shot if you want it,
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool because it's different, and a lot of champions don't do that. They're like, oh, it's mine. Sorry, you don't get a title shot. But Moxley is kind of like, sure, come at me, bro. Here's the title shot. I'll give it to you.
A little fettuccine to answer your
Come
question.
and fight me, and I will still beat you up,
Here's the issue I have with Moxley's title run. I see Moxley kind of like The Fiend, where he's kind of loose cannon, and he has to go after people rather than people coming after him.
See, but I think where it's different,
for him
it's different like, between the two of them, is the fact that The Fiend is like this sort of like supernatural-esque type of a character, where it does not, like...
Sorry to hear about that, James.
It doesn't make sense for The Fiend to have the title. I can understand Moxley having the title, though, because he's like a normal guy, And he's just off the walls, bonkers, and will do anything and everything,
Yeah.
And so, where I think it's acceptable for Moxley to be like, yeah, I'm going to give you this title shot. Go ahead, come at me, bro. I think it works. It works for him and not The Fiend because, like I said, The Fiend is sort of this like supernatural character, and Moxley's not. And Fiend is off the walls, nuts, and it's like I will put my title on the line to fight you. Again, you're not asking for a title shot, but that's what I'm gonna do anyways because I am so like, I know I'm gonna beat you.
Okay, but I'm cool as far as Moxley having the title. I'm okay. Don't let him keep it forever. Because, the thing about it is he's more of a go after somebody rather than having people come after him.
Which I agree, but I think it's very interesting to watch him do that while he has the championship, and he ends up putting the championship on the line. He's going after these guys, and they end up getting a free title shot out of it. Even if they don't win, you know, they're still getting that opportunity, which I think is kind of, it's different and it's cool, and I think it works, whereas, like, with The Fiend, that doesn't necessarily work.
There were no women's matches tonight.
You know, so...
But I wonder if some of that wasn't because some of them can't get to where they need to be.
Should have gone to Paige, in my opinion. I agree. I think Paige could have, you know, he could have taken the title, and I'd be cool with it. I can't speak. That's my answer.
Yeah, I could see it. Sorry, brother. Hopefully she'll make it through. It's a tough time. My prayers go out to you and your friend.
So that was that Moxley interview. It was cool. We then got a Brody Lee video, and essentially he's sitting at a dinner table. This was funny. He's sitting at a dinner table, and there's Alex Reynolds on the one side and whatever the other guy's name is on the other. I can't remember his name. And the one guy, they're sitting there. They have food in front of them, and they're sitting there, and they're like,
Paige needs to drink some Maven green tea.
This food is sitting in front of them.
He doesn't want to drink anything right now from the crowd.
And, you know, they're like sitting here looking at their food.
Yes, Brody Lee can talk. I know, it's crazy.
And Brody Lee won't let them eat yet because he's sitting there eating. And so the one picks up his fork and his knife.
Thanks, James.
And he goes to cut his meat and he's going to eat it. And Brody Lee is like, what do you think you're doing? I am not done eating. Get out. Get out. And then the other one is sitting there and he goes, Achoo! And Brody Lee goes, what did you just do? Get out! Get out! Get out! I can't believe you. I can't believe you just did that. And then I'm scrolling through Twitter after this, and they're like, oh my gosh. I get it. Brody Lee's character, this promo, was making fun of Vince McMahon. And I was like,
yeah, this was good.
I didn't think about it at first, but that is so true.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. Brody Lee spoke more in the last 2 times he's been on TV than the last 5 years he was on WWE.
I agree. Brody Lee has made Dark Order a lot more interesting. Isn't Brody Lee A.K. Harper? Yes, he is, James. Dark Order is the new APA 2.0, a change of character. I don't know. I think the one thing about it is we found out that Brody Lee can talk.
I know. Nobody knew this. Harper's dead. Yes. Harper is dead. Sorry about that.
We found out he can talk.
Harper's dead. Brody Lee is, you know.
And not only can he talk, but he seems to know what he's doing when he's talking.
This guy is so good, and it's like yet another talent that I'm just like, WWE, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done? This guy, you could have been using this guy for 5 years. He could have been in a prominent role, could have been in a prominent position. He could have been going for championships. And you wasted him on him standing there like this.
Yes, he was buried by Vince a long time ago.
Are you kidding me, man? Really? What? I had no idea what this guy even sounded like. Like, I didn't know if he was gonna have like a country accent, or if he was gonna be like British, or if he was gonna be like, I didn't have a clue what he was gonna sound like. I mean, you know, obviously.
Hopefully he doesn't have the same fate as Bruiser Brody.
So like, man, it's awesome to see this guy being like used and like in a good way.
Yeah, it was good.
So we then got his AEW Dynamite debut, match-wise. He's fighting QT Marshall. Brody Lee won. We all knew Brody Lee was going to win. I think he's going to be undefeated for a long time. At least I think that's what they should do with him.
He like throws a mask on top of him.
That's what I think they should do. Is have him go undefeated for a long time. And every time he fights somebody, he throws a mask, and this is how he slowly builds up the Dark Order, because people realize, maybe I do need him.
Yeah.
You know? That's what I think they should do. Until it gets to, like, some big name, you know, like a Kenny Omega or a Cody, you know, one of the top faces in the brand. And then we get a Brody Lee-Cody type of a match or something like that, you know? Or Brody Lee, Matt Hardy, or just, like, something where he's, like, gonna go after, like, this huge name.
Yeah.
So.
WWE losing Matt Hardy is huge. I don't understand why you don't let these guys get more creative.
I don't either, because what Matt Hardy did tonight was some of the best work I've seen in a long time.
We're going to talk about that, Elijah.
You know, so we then get Nick Jackson drone footage. They sent...
Yes, Dark Side of the Ring on Bruiser Brody is crazy, definitely.
They sent Vanguard.
We're not practicing social distancing right now, James.
Sorry.
We do wash our hands 100 times, though.
Cody's facing Land Charger. I know he's facing Land Charger, but what I'm saying is, like, down the line, I think Brody Lee could, you know, fight somebody like a Cody or a Kenny Omega or, like, one of the big names in AEW. He slowly is building up the Dark Order when fighting these, you know, more, like, jobber-type guys. You know what I mean? Like, guys like QT Marshall who aren't super, like, you know, well-known and who aren't, like, the major stars. And so he's facing those guys for the next several months, building up the Dark Order, building up his following, and then he goes after a big name like a Cody or a Kenny Omega or a Hangman Adam Page or whatever, you know, something like that.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So. Nick Jackson drone footage. They have Vanguard. You know, they're like, this is our West Coast correspondent. And so they did that, and it was kind of funny. And then
Lee versus Moxley's coming. I can see it coming.
Yeah, like a John Moxley, just like one of the big names in AEW right now, you know. So we then get Sammy Guevara versus Kenny Omega for the AAA Mega Championship. I actually thought this was a really decent match. I was kind of rooting for Sammy Guevara, not gonna lie. I kind of wanted to see him win, just because I feel like he has not.
Brody Lee versus Darby Allin would be a good one.
Just because I feel like he
hasn't. I
feel like Sammy hasn't gotten a win in a bit, and so I feel like he almost needed the win tonight, you know?
I thought he was going to win. I personally thought
he was going to win. And then he didn't, and I was a little bit like, oh. But there was such a great spot. He had pictures.
Thoughts on the AAA Mega Championship design?
I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't really follow that, but I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I agree.
So... Sammy.
Really good. That championship looks like trash, though. I thought it was. I mean, it's no worse than some of the other championships they've had out there.
Yeah, agreed.
I felt so bad for David Benoit. That's why he's treated. Yes.
So, Sammy, pictures at ringside. This was hilarious. There was a picture of Brandy.
Yes.
And he's been making jokes over the last several weeks of like, Brandy, leave Cody. If you want to leave Cody, I'm right here. And he takes this picture of Brandy and like starts to make out with it, and it was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
It was good.
And Brandy's like standing there.
Well, first off, there's like 3 pictures of the 3 papers of the people sitting at ringside, and you have
Jericho.
Yeah, which was what, the leader or something like that is what is at the top.
Yeah.
Of that. And then you had another one that was, I don't even remember what the other one was.
Captain.
Yeah, Captain.
It was Star Trek.
And then they had the one with Brandy, and I thought this was excellent. I love the way he like walked over and like pointed at it as he comes out to the ring, and
it was so funny. And then he made out with the Brandy picture, and Brandy was like,
yeah, it was cool.
Like
Darby Allin is a new Sting.
It was funny.
I could kind of see that, James.
This guy is such a comedian.
A little smaller build, but I could see that.
Like, Sammy is truly so very funny. Like, the things they have him do are just
like he works at...
hilarious.
I agree, little fettuccine.
Just hilarious. And I love the guy. He's so awesome. He's great in the ring. Again, he has a really great character. He's good on the mic. And he's funny. He's awesome. So Kenny won, retained the championship. Soup's cool. So,
hey, maybe
just like a bank robber night. Yeah, I said that before I went on. I was like,
she's going out after this and checking things
out. Gonna rob some banks, folks. Yes. So,
Well, the problem is now our bank has cleaned everything, so they'll find her fingerprints pretty easy.
Oh, darn.
So she doesn't wear gloves, so gotta make sure you wear the gloves.
Okay, I'll wear the gloves.
Yeah.
We'll be cool. Got my hat and stuff. So we then get Jericho and Matt Hardy face to face. So Vanguard shows up first. The drone shows up.
Yes.
And Jericho.
Join us, Vanguard.
I don't like you, but I respect you. Vanguard, will you join the inner circle? And the drone, it's like moving towards him at first. And then it starts to slowly back off, and Jericho goes, no, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. No, come back here. And then the piano starts to play, Matt Hardy's music. And Hardy shows up in, the rafters. I was like, wow, he's like Sting. Like, Sting showing up in the rafters, it's like, that type of, a cool, oh my gosh type of a thing. I can only imagine what it would be like if there was, fans there.
Yeah.
It would literally be just like Sting.
Yeah.
Where he shows up in the rafters and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's Matt Hardy.
Yeah, great.
And so he shows up, he's at the very top, and then they do this super cool, I don't even know what it was, but it was and then Matt Hardy shows up on the second one down.
He teleported into the ring, into the goddamn ring. Wow, magic.
It was so cool. The way they edited it.
And Jericho, the way they edited it was awesome, but Jericho's reaction was awesome.
It was so epic, and I was like, whoa.
Props to whoever's controlling Vanguard 1.
Honestly, though, it was so epic, and it was so awesome. I hope they do that every time he comes to the ring, have that be his, entrance or whatever, is have him show up in, it would be so cool.
A lot of people weren't a fan of the teleportation stuff because how can advertise your show as a sports presentation have stuff like this? LOL.
Well, I suppose they can't do it every time.
The thing is
it's how
the thing
would
about
you do
sports presentation. I mean, people that don't like that don't like wrestling because I'm sorry if you've watched wrestling in the past. Wrestling is just a movie, and if you don't like it, that's fine. I mean, but it's part of the show. And it adds to the show, and it makes it interesting, and...
It was really cool.
Yeah.
So, we had that, and it was epic. So Jericho's like, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? And Matt Hardy's like, I am magic!
Yeah, they definitely won't like it now that Matt Hardy's there because of the stuff he's going to do. Definitely.
So, Hardy shows up, and then Jericho's like, you know what, I want you to join the inner circle. Why don't you join us? And Hardy declines, and he asks him, several times. And then, one of the last times, he's like, so are you with the elite or the inner circle? And Hardy's like, delete! And he goes, elite? Delete! Elite? Delete! Elite! Delete! Elite! Delete! Elite! And it was so funny. They just went back and forth.
Yeah, this was cool.
For a solid minute, and it was so funny. And then, Jericho was like, you know what? I got some magic tricks too. You ready? Ready? In a minute, I'm going to go poof. And somebody's going to attack you. And then Sammy Guevara shows up.
Yeah.
And attacks, Matt Hardy.
Chris Jericho's the only guy I'd go gay for. He's my gay lover.
And so,
yeah, I loved Hardy's song too. It was awesome.
Jericho had Sammy attack him, and then Cody and Kenny come off the commentary booth, and they come and help Matt Hardy, fend them off. And then Jericho and Sammy are standing on the ramp, and Matt Hardy's standing there, and he's like, and flames go up on the one side. And then he does it with the other hand, and flames go up on the other side. And then he's like, and then it's just explosions, and it was so cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was like, whoa!
Should there be a female member of the inner circle?
Yeah, they should use the Mel lady, the one that was supposed to be a part of, what's it called? I even forgot what they're supposed to be called. Nightmare Collective.
Female member of the inner circle.
Because men,
Hillary Clinton.
she shaved her head for the Nightmare Collective, and well, she's not being put to use now, so she should join the inner circle. Because why not?
I agree. I think there's probably should be one. And
it's just a matter of who.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be Britt Baker though, with the way like she like her whole like gimmick and everything,
well,
and like she's like the super heel person. I feel like Jericho might be like, we like you. You do a good job of making the crowd hate you. That's kind of a Jericho trait.
It is.
I think you should join us. I could very much see them Jericho being like, we want you.
How many people? Because what's happened with Brody Lee and what's happened with Matt Hardy? How many WWE wrestlers that aren't being used are sitting here watching this going, man. And I'm not saying AEW is going to take them all, but how many of them are sitting there going, if we go there, look at what kind of freedom we have, look at what we can do, and look at the opportunities we have to showcase what we're capable of doing. I mean, I can't see any WWE star that is not used, that is not being, put out there the way they want to be put out there. And I'm not saying that, world titles or anything like that. I'm talking about them and their character and being able to utilize that character.
Dude, the Revival is taken off the road, and they're not even being paid.
Yeah.
They aren't being paid right now because they're not on the road. Like, and they haven't been on the road for several months now. It's like, dude, like, just let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go be somewhere else.
I think with COVID-19 going on, Becky might just retain because there's no way WWE is going to let her drop the title without fans. Becky is the face of the company. I would not be shocked if she loses it. In fact, it might be better if she loses it without the fans there. Just saying. I think it will be
honestly,
like the nurses they take, it will all be underutilized talent. I agree. I think they'll be selective on who they take. I'm just curious as to how they are going to use them, and how many of them they will sign.
Oh, and Jeff is going. WWE should go to Walmart and find the new talent on shows.
Does Jeff still have a year left on his contract, though?
I think so.
Because I heard those guys are out of business now because of COVID-19.
The Walmart wrestling entertainment
the Walmart
guys.
Wrestling guys.
Yeah. It's like, we can't even go in the stores anymore.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We're going out of business, man. It was real
AEW
funny.
was awesome. I thought it was a good show.
I did too.
Considering there's no crowd and the way they've done it, I think it's been awesome how they've done it.
I saw there's a tweet just a minute ago. I know everyone thinks Killer Kross is coming for Gargano or Ciampa, but I think and hope he's coming for Triple H.
That'd be interesting.
That could be fun. That could be real interesting. It'd be different, and that'd be neat. I'd be down for that.
He had time out of because of his arrest, etc. But I reckon about 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. I mean, if he comes, it'd be interesting to see what they do.
So,
is there going to be a SmackDown show this week?
They're supposed to be.
They're supposed to be taping it, I believe. I think they were supposed to have been taping yesterday and today, and I read somewhere where possibly tomorrow. So I think that there's a potential that they will have a show after this week. I don't know, with everything, obviously a lot of places going into lockdown.
Yeah.
Bring back Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's only 26-year-old. He needs to come back. 26 plus 40. How many of you, we watched the Chris Benoit story last night, and I thought it was done really well.
I did too.
It was interesting how they tied Eddie Guerrero into.
I like that they tied Eddie Guerrero into it because I think that played a big part into, what happened with.
So far, I haven't seen spoilers. Yeah, I haven't either.
I think what happened with Eddie played a big part into, what happened with Chris Benoit. So I think they had to tie the two together, somewhat.
Yeah.
Again, I thought it was done very well. I knew the story. of what happened.
It is really good, Gimme Juliet.
I knew the story.
The way they did it was really good.
I knew the story of what happened, sort of like the whole thing behind it.
You stay safe too, little fettuccine.
But I had never heard like the full story.
All right, have a good one.
You know, but I thought the whole documentary was done really well.
They've put all of their shows have been really good.
Dark Side of the Ring is such a great wrestling.
Chris Benoit, I honestly don't know what to think about him anymore. I don't have an opinion on the topic. Ains, if you haven't seen the show, watch the documentary.
Yes.
How you doing, observing stuff?
Thought the documentary was
the documentary does a really good job of I mean, it goes through everything, you know, with the whole like his career and everything, and it ties Eddie Guerrero into it in his career.
And then Eddie Guerrero, you know, dying and stuff.
Yeah, the whole Eddie Guerrero dying and how it affected Chris Benoit.
And then you know what happened with
then what happened with Benoit and his family, and then
and then there was a big part of it that was about Nancy too, and talking about, you know, her with because they had Nancy Benoit's sister on there.
Yes.
And, you know, they talked about her and Kevin Sullivan in the beginning and how that, you know, happened, and then being written into the storyline with Benoit and how it actually ended up turning into, you know.
Yes, and then how his living
Kevin
son
Sullivan and
has
Nancy
had to live
Benoit's
with people like making fun of him and like, you know, chastising him because of his name and things like that. Conspiracy theories are that Kevin Sullivan had a part to do with the murders. I don't think Kevin Sullivan had anything to do with the murders, just based off of what we saw.
I was extremely interested and couldn't stop watching. Yeah, it was really interesting, and looking at a lot of people's reactions to it, they were like, man, it was rough to watch just because of, you know, what it was, but it was very, like, informative, and seeing the perspectives from Chavo Guerrero and, like, him being there, and, you know, the text messages and everything that it got.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
And everything kind of leading up to what happened with Benoit, like, seeing his reaction and everything that happened with him was super cool. And I think getting that perspective, you know, it added the other perspective of, you know, this is what he was like outside of it. You've heard this side of it, but this is what it was like.
Yeah.
Like, he was messed up, you know, after Eddie died. So, you know, the part where Benoit's son said he wanted to be tag champs with his brother, like, did hit me. Yeah, I was like.
Like, observing
for what?
I'm guessing observing stuff said this sucks.
Oh.
Yeah, it also sucks that his wife can't get into the Hall of Fame because of who she is.
She was, my gosh,
Here's my
watching
thoughts
this
with her,
man,
because she can't get into the Hall of Fame. They should just induct her. Don't put her last name on it because
just put her in as woman.
The last name is what's having issues.
Put her in as woman.
Because his son has said that this has been the issue with him is the last name, but he's not going to change it.
Put her in as woman.
So put her in as woman. And if they put her in as woman,
she deserves to go in, man. She was just an instrumental part of, like, there's nothing like her now.
No.
We don't have anybody
right now,
like woman in WWE, or we haven't seen anybody like that in a long time. And she did her job so very well. And I wish we had more people like that, and I wish we did more stuff like that. But we don't, and it sucks because she did her job so well, and she really does deserve to go into the Hall of Fame.
Talking about Chris Benoit and his wife.
She really does deserve to go in the Hall of Fame.
They should have her in the Hall of Fame as just
because
woman. Don't use her real name.
She was a huge part of, you know, Kevin Sullivan, and, you know, I'd like to see them do one on Owen Hart. They have one on Owen Hart. It's coming out sometime later this season.
Yes. It is in this season.
For Dark Side of the Ring.
Yes.
There's supposed to be one on Owen Hart. I'm really excited for that one too. So, regardless, it was really cool to watch it. And like I said, I knew the story, but I didn't know the story. You know, I knew what happened.
Well, then the fact that WWE had never reached out to them outside of like a couple people.
Yeah, it's like just like the whole thing. And like WWE is kind of like shunned Chris Benoit, and it's understandable why they did, but you don't hear much about him ever anymore until something like this comes out. And then you start to talk about it again, and everybody's like, oh, Chris Benoit, he's one of the probably one of the greatest professional wrestlers that has ever lived.
Yes.
And it's just really unfortunate everything that happened that kind of tarnished all of that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's the big thing is they had Chris Jericho on there, and he was talking about how, because he was said he was like really good friends with him. In fact, he's the one that got David Benoit, the son of Chris, together with Nancy's sister, and got them back to talking with one another. The thing about the show is how they how like the Benoit name can't be, everybody looks at Benoit's name and goes, this is like crazy, and like his name shouldn't be associated with anything. Here's the question I have: how did he pass the WWE drug tests?
Well,
I mean, I know probably how he did it, but how could someone not realize that he was like, so roided up that they would have been concerned?
Well, and like I just like the whole thing surrounding it that is like just so not mind-boggling, but just like crazy. And
if
how
you listen to Jericho talking about it said that basically the testing was like crazy nuts after Eddie's death, and they were concerned of that the WWE really did a good job of like being all over this. So it kind of made you question how did
they miss it?
How did Benoit get away with some of the stuff he did?
So
as far as the drugs and stuff, the steroids.
Yeah.
And obviously, after doing the autopsy and stuff, seeing the CTE that was happening there, so people that sit here and say wrestling's fake and things like that, he probably took enough headshots that probably messed his brain up.
Mm-hmm. And what they said, I remember,
and I think that probably like screwed everything up.
What they said yesterday, there was a doctor or something who used to be a former wrestler, but then went into like neuro stuff. And he said something about where like the specific part of his brain where it was so messed up was like where your like emotions and stuff are kind of like recognized, and they kind of like send the signals out everywhere. And he said that was like a spot in the brain where like the emotions were recognized, and so that pushed him kind of over the edge.
Yeah, like Tommy Dreamer talked about. He thought he had like 3 concussions in 1 week, and there was like one night he got knocked out, didn't remember the match. And later on was talking and to one of the other guys, and the guy was like, yeah, we had a good match, and he was like, we did? It's like,
I don't remember any of it. So, somebody asked what other stuff is supposed to be.
And Tommy Dreamer has dedicated his brain to
Yeah, he said that he's going to donate
science.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, donated.
Donate it.
Not dedicated. Donated.
Dedicated.
He dedicated his brain to science.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. So, other stuff that's supposed to be on this season of Dark Side of the Ring.
That.
There was the Chris Benoit episode with Nancy and, his son and all that stuff. We're also supposed to have the murder of Dino Bravo, the Brawl for All tournament that led to career-ending injuries, the career of ECW star New Jack, David Schultz's violent run-in with a 2020 reporter.
I think next week is New Jack.
Yes, right? I believe so.
So going to be Dark Side of the Ring on the 83 weeks of WCW.
The death of Nancy Argentino, Jimmy Snuka's girlfriend. The story of tag team wrestling legends Hawk and Animal. Herb Abrams' attempt to build a wrestling empire, and the story of Owen Hart's death during a WWE pay-per-view.
Yes.
So, it should be really good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's...
Like, the first season, I really enjoyed...
Yes, New Jack's going to be rough.
I really enjoyed...
The main part of what was jacked up was the emotions thing. The first 9 months, I literally had no emotions, and when I did, I was just super angry at everyone. And I couldn't taste food or smell. What? So, since you've, like, had a concussion for getting, like been, like, messed up...
yeah, since you've been,
not
like,
that you're messed up or anything like that, but...
Messed
like,
up. Well, jeez!
Have they done a brain scan on you? I'm just curious.
So... I thought the first season of Dark Side of the Ring was done really well. I really liked the Bruiser Brody episode because I knew what happened to him, but I never knew what happened to him. You know, I just knew that he was, like, killed.
I have a question. Is there a way I can talk to my friend in the Philippines on my iPad? Is there a way? Do they have an iPad, James, or an iPhone? I would assume that if they have an iPad or an iPhone, you could do, you could just do, as long as they have internet, you should be able to just do.
Yes, I had a
FaceTime.
Yes, I had a contrast MRI and lots of CT scans, and they like put wires all over my head and shine lights.
I do think 83 weeks of WCW might be interesting. Yes, I had a contrasted MRI and lots of CT scans, and they like put wires all over my head and shine lights all over my face. So did they find anything that, like, with your concussion, did they find anything? It's been 2 years this month and it's not better, but it's because I don't sleep. Did you sleep before? My school won't open it back until May 1st. Well, then, how much school do you have left, Jonelle, if you guys open May 1st? If we open May 1st, we've got like 3 weeks left of school. A lot of schools are shut down completely. If they have an iPad or an iPhone, I would think if you have their email, you should be able to do FaceTime.
You think
I would think. I'm just guessing.
You think the screw job was a work or no?
I don't think Brett had a clue.
No, I think after it happened, I think he was like, yeah. I don't think he knew.
I honestly don't think Brett had a clue.
I don't think he had a clue, and I think he was like legitimately like, you know,
mad,
pissed after because of everything that happened, and so, you know, like, So, question for the Wrestle Story.
You have 3 wrestlers to self-isolate with. Who do you all choose? Do you choose like any, like, could it be, are we talking about current wrestlers or just any wrestler? That would be a good work. They extended the lockdown for another 2 weeks for us.
It would be a good work.
He's going to have everyone working by Easter. I don't trust him. I don't see how you could have everyone working by Easter.
It would be a good work, but I think it was legitimate, man. I think Brett was like, beyond, like, he had no idea. Which
I don't think that
sucks.
Current wrestlers.
Man, all right, Becky Lynch, because why not? Because it'd be fun, you know. I don't know. Becky. No way, Jose, because it'd always be a good time, you know. He's got his conga line with him at all times.
So you'd have a four-person conga line.
So it'd be cool, you know. And Drew McIntyre, because he just seems like a funny guy.
Some good choices.
I don't know. Becky just seems cool, so I would say Becky. That'd be my first one, because, you know, she's cool. No, wait. Okay, I would say Becky and Drew for sure. No Way Jose would be awesome, but I think a conga line kind of, exceeds the 6-foot limit. And so, maybe the Fiend. The Fiend could be cool.
I'd say the New Day.
Oh, New Day would be cool too, man. There's so many.
I think, I can hang out and play like video games with them and things like that. And they can make pancakes for me.
I'll stick with my 3. Drew McIntyre, Becky, and No Way Jose.
I still stayed up late and stuff, but now I can't fall asleep. I don't remember really much that happened months after they diagnosed me with post-concussion syndrome, so I feel it basically like I just had the concussion. So what have they done for you? I mean, is there something they can do for you? For Yeti?
Heath Slater, Kevin Owens, and John Cena.
That's a good choice.
I mean, Heath Slater would be fun,
The only problem is
he's got kids.
I was going to say, you probably have to bring his kids along. So now you're going to have more than 3.
Honestly, though, I think...
Give me a whole, who's yours?
I think No Way Jose is pretty smart,
Becky
though.
Lynch,
Hikaru Shida, and Peyton
Royce.
I'm fails. So, yeah, man. That'd be my picks.
Give me a whole Would your girlfriend approve of that? You're not married yet, are you? When is the next Dark Side of the Ring episode? Next Tuesday.
Yes, next Tuesday.
10 o'clock.
It's supposed to be about. What's it supposed to be about? What's next week's?
Give me Britus. Yeah, next week. Give me medicine to help me sleep. So my brain heals and cognitive therapy and therapy on my neck that is injured to help it heal because it's putting pressure on my brain.
Oh, well,
Has your brain healed at all? Have they done any tests to see if your brain's healed at all?
You guys should do a watch along.
For the show?
Do a watch along for Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, we could do something like that probably. Did you hear John Morrison say last week, SmackDown, he taught himself how to whip it? Yes. Fiance, that's what I thought.
I said
that's what I thought.
She wouldn't be there. I'm not worried. Who can fight for the women's
So you're
tag
kicking
team
her
titles?
out to the curb, huh?
All NXT. That's funny.
I was just watching some of Becky's old matches in Shimmer. Very good matches. Y'all should check them out. I'll have to remember that. James Shimmer. I'll check that out. Who can fight for the women's tag team titles? Who knows, Jono? Nobody knows. No clue.
Nobody.
Or a review of the new Jack episode. Maybe we'll do that. We'll check it out and see what it's about, and maybe we'll do a review.
Because honestly, I feel like they are so very informative.
I don't have to work, so,
And you learn a lot of stuff, man. And, the Chris Benoit one, like I said, it was so very interesting just watching it. And, the whole thought process on everything. And I think the whole Eddie Guerrero thing is what really pushed him over the edge and, messed him up.
Yeah.
It just did.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of a downhill slide from there. And, what I don't understand is, I can understand him not wanting help and, not being able to cope with it. But, why would nobody,
recognize it?
Offer him the help? They said halfway through, he was always sad and he was always crying and he was always super depressed. But then they gave him...
on the episode.
But then they gave him a journal, he could write to Eddie. And he started to become better, but not better,
yeah.
And it's how did nobody at WWE kind of comprehended this? How did nobody get it? That he, because wouldn't it be pretty obvious? You would think. I don't know, man.
I have watched the Aaron Hernandez story.
It's so very interesting just watching it. And, how did people miss it, I don't know.
Well, that's just it. I don't know how you could help him. I mean, somewhere along the way, he's got to, and this is probably why he's been distanced from a lot of things, and people don't like his name. They just don't know how you could do that. And obviously, it was planned. Mm-hmm. And he thought about it, so it wasn't like a roid rage. So I don't see how this could be a roid rage.
It was probably after Eddie died is when he was like.
I think he just lost it.
Yeah, and he was just like, I just don't know how to do it anymore. And so he'd been planning it out probably since then. And then I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see, Jono, what SmackDown's going to be like. I don't know what it's going to be like. I think it's going to be hard to get all this wrestling in before, well, I guess today was it.
Like,
for the taping.
I can understand, like, people, you know, being like, oh, well, this is, like, normal. He's, like, just, like, grieving and, you know, trying to cope with it. But, like, after it got to, like, a point where, like, he was just, like, not stopping, you know?
Can we power rank the first season of Dark Side of the Ring? I'd have to go back and watch them again.
They were all
And then
really
I could
good.
Yeah, I mean, they were all
I
good.
really loved the Bruiser Brody episode. That was done very well.
It was good.
And I really liked that one. And I just, man, that one was good.
Yeah.
And the Montreal Screwjob, I like that one. Even the Randy Savage one was okay. I thought it was good, but I feel like not having like Hogan on there, you know, to kind of talk about it from like you know, experience.
Yeah.
Because he was there during the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, they asked him to be on the show and everything, but he just declined it.
Yeah.
And I wish he would have been on the show, because I think that episode would have been a lot better if he had been there to kind of talk about it and explain more of like what was happening behind the scenes, because they had Hogan's wife from the time on.
Yeah.
But she only knew so much, you know, from
Well,
like
yeah.
the aspect of like from Miss Elizabeth's standpoint, you know, because they were friends. And so like I think having Hogan on that one would have helped it out a lot to give kind of like the Randy Savage perspective and what was going on.
Did you watch this one, Little Fettuccine? Did you watch the Chris Benoit one? I don't remember if you said you did or not.
Like, you know, so I thought that would have been the one thing there that I thought would have made that episode a little bit better and made me like it a little more, because I think all of them have been good.
If you're emotional, don't watch the second part. Because I'll tell you, the second part is gonna make you emotional. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was hard to watch all.
Yeah, if you thought the first part was hard, then the second part is gonna be rough.
I find it very difficult, because they all had great bits. I'd say Brody was the most informative, Moolah was the most shocking, and Von Erich was the most emotional, maybe. See, I'd have to go back and watch the Von Erich
the Von Erich, well,
the
I
Moolah
think
one
just
again.
because of everything that happened with the Von Erichs and everything, like the whole family, I think it made it tough.
Yeah.
And now I just think there's Von Erichs in Major League Wrestling that are performing, so, you know, I would almost say I mean, I knew a lot about the Bruiser Brody thing.
See, I thought that one was super interesting, and like they had Tony Atlas. Is that his name? That's his name, right?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of a different person. It was Tony Atlas, and he was on there, and he was like there, and he's like one of the people that like found him.
I don't know if it was Tony Atlas.
Was it Tony Atlas?
I don't remember.
I thought it was Tony Atlas. Whatever. They had somebody there that was like there that like found him or whatever, and like it was just nuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did that happen? You know? Like,
definitely.
Tony Atlas!
Yeah.
See, I was right. I was like, geez, man. Like, but it was really informative and really, really
Good night,
cool,
James. You have a good one. Hey, I hope your friend gets healthy. And stay safe, man.
Yes.
Von Erich story is so tragic. Definitely. I was like young during that time, and I remember like the stories. So it was like nuts then. Because I had just heard of like Kerry Von Erich, like when I started to hear about him when he had like died. So that was like, it was like crazy with like his death, and then like hearing the whole story behind like the whole family was just crazy.
I'll have to go back and watch those, because they were all really good.
Yeah.
And
definitely really good.
It's an awesome show, man.
Young, you call mid-30s young?
Oh, dang. You just got
I can't believe you just threw
roasted.
a shot like that.
You just got roasted. Man. Oh, I think you're burnt. I think you're burnt, man. I think you are burnt.
Wow.
Aye.
I guess
you just got roasted.
Yeah, but just think of how good I look for like being, almost 70 years old. So I haven't
Jeez,
aged
man.
much, you know. So.
Mr. G is the new manager for. Ah, jeez, that's. Man, you got roasted.
I know, but being almost 70, I haven't, you know. It's like.
Haven't aged that much.
Yeah, I look good, don't I? The Jurassic Express, the living dinosaur.
I did see a picture of you from 15 years ago, and you do look the same. She's not wrong. You do look the same.
I haven't changed.
You just have more of a beard, you know?
Just grew the beard.
But you look the same.
Not much has changed.
You really do. So, man.
All right. I think that
That's just because
he's off work. And will be for the next at least 2 weeks.
Possibly longer.
Yeah. Have you watched the Kerry vs. Flair match for the NWA title? Yes, I have. More facial fluff. Yes. The fluff is growing.
Yes.
It's kind of expanding with, you know,
it's just
being off work. And
super gray
I started letting it grow before we even like went on this break, and I've just kind of let it like grow out.
It's really gray now.
Couple weeks.
Like really gray, like gray, man, gray.
It doesn't make sense to go back to school May 1st because then we want to join. We already going to be out. Yeah, I think that's just it. I think if you go May 1st, I think if it goes through April where you're not in school, I think that probably just call it all off. I'm still waiting for like our governor.
Hey guys, you want to see something new?
I'm waiting for our governor to say that we aren't, that we are done and we are out.
So I had my birthday over the weekend, and I got this. It's real cool.
Yeah.
It's the Fiend.
The Fiend.
So now we can be like, the Fiend! Let him in. You know, be all weird.
The Fiend pop figure.
Yeah. I'm so excited because we pre-ordered this 45 years ago and I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then I opened it and I was like, oh!
You guys are the best. Thank you for making
oh my gosh.
content in the world of isolation. I'm going to like the video and subscribe to the awesome channel. Thank you. Give me a whole yeah. And make sure you go check out Give Me a Whole Yeah. They put out some pretty good videos themselves.
Yes.
They are awesome. Happy birthday, Maven. It's mine today.
Cool. Mine was
Look, you're like
Saturday.
You know, a couple days apart.
Saturday. Yes.
Awesome. Happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
We are going to take off. Make sure you subscribe. They have to have some kind of crazy medical discovery for it to be safe to bring schools back. I agree.
Or, to bring anything back, just to be.
Ours, like here, we've picked, like here in our state, we've picked up more and more every day, cases every day. We've actually had somebody die today.
That's nice.
So, yeah, it's one of those things. For real, this time is safe. I got a WC training pack for your birthday, Maven. A little fettuccine. Once we get something figured out, I don't know where to send it to, because we just don't want to have it directly sent to our place, because crazy psychos, and I have a bunch of small kids that are, like, in my opinion, cute, and crazy psychos out there that like are dumb and stuff. So, once we have everything figured out after all of this, we will give you an address to send it to.
They're
pretty darn cute. Yes. Stay safe, everybody. Hey, John L., stay safe, man. You guys rock. You guys make the show fun. We are going to take off. We'll be back on... Today's Wednesday, isn't it? See, I lost track of my days.
Great content. Yes, we're still going to be making great content.
We will
oh my gosh, wait! I almost forgot.
Shoot.
Wait, where's the hat? Where'd the numbers go? What did you do?
Jeez.
I almost forgot. Don't go anywhere, guys.
So
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere,
okay.
Please. Nobody leave yet. We gotta do something real quick.
So we'll explain this real quick. Somebody said do a WrestleMania.
Because WrestleMania is next weekend, and so we're gonna do a retro review. So I wrote down all the numbers in my super cool Fearless, Stay Fearless Nikki hat. I wrote down all the numbers for WrestleMania of every one that we've had. 1 through 35, and they're all in this hat, and we're going to pick one out here, live, in front of you. I'm not going to look at it. There is no cheating. They're all in there, and my eyes are closed, and this is my hand.
Wait, they're all number 6.
No, they're not.
I'm kidding.
They're all multiple numbers. Right. And so we're going to pick one.
9, 10. Anybody else want to guess? Anybody else want to guess?
And so this will be the one that we do. Are y'all ready?
Yeah, they're like tired of hearing the crumpling. 3, 333, 2. Jeez, just grab one.
All right, what is it? What is it? What is it?
It's.
Oh my gosh, it's 6. All right, WrestleMania 6.
So we will do
3,
something.
33, 300. 6. All right, WrestleMania 6. That's what we're gonna do.
I'm back. Hello, James.
All right, we're gonna have to do this more often. We're just gonna take whatever number we've already done.
It's 9.
No, it's not. It's a 6. It is a 6. I can guarantee
it's upside
that.
Down.
No, it isn't. It's a 6. It is a 6. I guarantee that because there's a 9 in here. The 9 is right here. I drew my 9 and my 6 way different, so you can tell them apart. See?
That's a P.
No, it isn't. It's a 6.
Oh. So
It's
that's
a 9. This is a 9.
17.
And this is a 6.
We drew number 6, so.
All right,
so
number
that'll
6.
be our,
So now.
nobody draws 9s like that.
Number 6 will be. Number 6.
Hey,
we're
what
gonna.
are you saying? I don't draw 9s like that. My 9s are cool.
We have a 6, okay? Number 6 is the one that we're going to do for WrestleMania week. We're going to have a retro review that week. And then we have our hat. So when we want to do the next WrestleMania review, all we got to do is pull a number out of here and go, number 17.
Yep.
And that'll be the next one that we do. All right, folks, you heard it here first.
Number 6 will be our wrestling review.
Number 6, that's our next retro
cool.
recap.
All right, we're going to take off. You guys have a good one. Stay safe. Don't go crazy self-isolating. If you feel like you're going to go crazy, come into the show. We'll talk to you.
Yes.
That way you don't feel isolated.
Yes. My 9s are cool.
Yeah.
Cool
We're
boys.
out. You guys have a good one. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out, guys.